Welcome to WaksBrutalTruth. I'm your host, Wak, and I'm glad that you joined me for today's video. First things first, I hope you'll stay for the entire video, even if you just came to prove me wrong about the fact that I called you a failure in the title and thumbnail of this video. I feel like I've got some really good insight into the idea or the perspective that you need to have for failure and success. Now, for those of you that want to prove me wrong, here's what I'm going to say. When you were a child, you tried to walk. And as you tried to walk, you fell down. That was a failure. Now, you're probably thinking, man, that is dumb. How can you bring that up as a failure? I was just learning how to walk, and that's the process that everybody goes through. Well, you're absolutely right. However, what I want to say is that we look at failure as being much more devastating than it needs to be, because the process of learning to walk is the process of failing until you succeed. One of my favorite quotes about failure actually comes from Arianna Huffington, the CEO and co-founder of the Huffington Post. And she says, failure is a stepping stone to success. If we look at our failures as stepping stones to success, we would be in a much better place. But this requires us to have a perspective that the failures that we go through are not the end result. And I want to change your perspective of failing from being devastating to thinking more of it like when you were learning to walk. Not that big of a deal and almost trivial in the grand scheme of where you're at today. Thomas Edison was quoted as saying, "I didn't fail. I just found 2,000 ways how not to make a light bulb. I only needed to find one way to make it work." And it seems like there's a common thread or a common perspective in these highly successful people. I recently posted a video on this channel explaining my journey with YouTube. When I started out, I had one goal, one mindset, and that mindset led me to failure, where I actually left and stopped doing YouTube for a number of years. I've only recently come back to YouTube, and I have a totally different perspective on how to achieve my goals and what things I should expect to come up on that path. And on that path, I will have moments where it feels like I've failed. I will have moments where things are hard. But the idea is that we push past those moments. We don't get wrapped up in those moments saying, this is the end and I can't go on any further. And honestly, this is really hard in a digital world. This is very difficult when what you post online, what you put out there for the world to see, is judged very, very brutally. It's easy for someone on the other side of the internet to totally destroy anything that you produce. It's easy for them to type a comment of hate or type a comment of discouragement and not ever have to worry about any repercussions coming back to them. So the one thing that I do with every interaction online is I weigh and value that interaction on what's best for me. You see, I don't have to care about anybody's comment. I can decide which comments to care about. I can decide which opinions to care about. And I treat my interactions online like I would in real life. So if I just bump into a random stranger on the street or at the grocery store and they say something derogative to me, am I going to hold on to that and make that true in my life? No, I'm going to dismiss that. I'm going to walk away from that person, and that person isn't going to have any grip or foothold in my life. My belief system is that I don't have to accept what anybody says to me. I can choose what things I believe about myself from somebody else's perspective. But at the same time, it's their perspective. It doesn't have to be mine. That doesn't mean that I don't look at constructive criticism, because I actually do, and I take constructive criticism to heart. I actually got a comment from a random person on one of my videos that basically went along the lines of, dude, I can't watch your videos because you use too much in your videos. And that's actually the comment and the reason why you don't hear me say and in most of my videos. Now, in that case, this person was right about what I was doing. I was using and a lot in my videos, and it was something that I really had to work hard to get out of my videos. You see, I decided to take his perspective and make it my own. I understood what he was saying. Even if it was a poke at me personally, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but it was something that I was doing, and I could tell that that annoyed certain people. So in that case and scenario, I went ahead and I took that on. I said, this guy is giving me good, solid feedback, and I should change this because even though it may be derogatory, it is going to lead me to have a much better product. However, if I came across a comment that just simply said, dude, I hate your voice, well, get over it. Like, I'm not taking that on. I'm not going to change who I am because you hate my voice or you don't like the way that I sound. That is just me. And it's not like you even need to be on a social media platform or a YouTuber to run across this kind of scenario. You could be just playing a game online and all of a sudden somebody comes along and says something to you that really puts you down. You have the ability and the power within you to decide if you're going to accept that person's outlook or perception of you. So each of you are going to have to decide as you come across these times in life where people try to put you down. And it's really hard when you're already down. But if you have a perspective that your failure is not the end, and you have the self-confidence in yourself to continue moving forward, those comments and those things are not going to be huge in your life. They're going to be small little speed bumps on the road to your success or your goal. Michael Jordan is quoted recapping his career this way: I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again, and that is why I succeed. And it's pretty evident in sports that a lot of failure happens. If you think about it, really, failure is very prevalent in sports because a lot of shots are missed, a lot of plays are messed up and don't work out the way that they are intended to work. And in life, it's really easy for failure to be crippling. It's really easy to look at something and say, well, I could do that, but if I failed, it would be devastating. If I failed, it would show everybody around me that doesn't think I can do it that they were right. And we really need to have a different perspective and outlook on failure. We really need to look at the idea that if you are not trying, if you are not putting yourself out there where you have the possibility of failing, you'll likely not achieve the greatness that's actually inside you. And I think that perspective is very important for each and every person individually. Wayne Gretzky was quoted as saying, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. And if you're not taking shots, sure, you are not going to fail. You are also not going to be highly successful. You are not going to reach the goals that are outside of your normal everyday life. And there's no doubt that failure does suck. It can be hard to be in those moments. But you know what failure also does? It makes you a stronger person if you have the right perspective. Marilyn Monroe was quoted saying, just because you fail once doesn't mean you're going to fail at everything. Keep trying, hold on, and always, always, always believe in yourself. Because if you don't, who will? And that's a very powerful message about self-confidence. You need to be confident in yourself and believe enough in your dream to go through those failures on the road to reaching your goals and dreams. So here's my challenge to each one of you today. Find your self-confidence. Find a way to look at your goals and find a way to achieve them. Look at the failures that will come up in your future and decide whether those failures are going to be so devastating that it stops you in your tracks, or whether those failures are just going to be a learning experience for you to actually succeed. Dig deep and find the right perspective for your life, the perspective that puts you on the path to achieve your goals. You see, no self-help book on the planet is actually going to get you to get motivated to achieve your goals. You have the power already inside you, and you just need to make the decision to actually move forward. And look back at yourself as you were learning to walk. Look back at how minimal those failures were and apply those to the future that you have in front of you. Don't let the worry of perceived failure stop you from reaching your goals, and always continue to work towards what you want in your life.